And we are heading now to another important site. Then some believe that it was built by King Herod. We believe now that it wasn't. It was built by the rebels, the Jews who came to here. Is it from the time of the temple or the time of after the temple been destroyed? Then we are entering to the synagogue. It looks like that. Let's try to find a shade. But I do have a good, very important surprise for you. What is a synagogue? Let's start with that. If you're a Christian and if you're a Jew, you know that Jesus and so many other Jews actually visited the synagogue almost every day. It wasn't a house of prayer that time. It was more like a community place. People talked there, read the Bible, studied the Bible, argue, curing people. I mean, Jesus did it too. That was the idea. And they were preaching. In that case, people used to sit around there to preach. And if we're talking about that, think about if you're a Christian, think about Jesus standing here and preaching and everyone actually listening to him. Let's say the synagogue of Nazareth. Let's say that everything that the prophet mentioned, it was about me. But after the destruction of the temple, they built synagogues as a house of prayer. Today, the Jews are praying in the house of God, in a synagogue 3 times a year. You must understand one thing. It's not the house of God. The house of God is in Jerusalem. Today, it's the Dome of the Rock, a Muslim place. But every church is a house of God, but not a synagogue. A synagogue is a house of prayer. This synagogue is divided into 2. The people that, the main hall, and there's another room there. That room is for the geniza. That is where the Jews used to bury holy books, like the Bible. If the Bible has been damaged, you cannot use it anymore, but you cannot throw it in the garbage. Then we found in that room part of the book of Ezekiel, the dry bones, the vision of the valley of the dry bones that talks about the prophet who saw lots of bones, and when he asked by God to pray and to bless that place, they're becoming alive. And that's the idea of the people of Israel. They've been bad people, but they will always be born again for them. And the Christians see it in a totally different way. But let's go to see an amazing part here. And let's see if I think it's open. And this is not less important for me. I think one of the most important thing for me here. Let's see if it's open. And yes, it is open, but let's the people to go. I think this is the most important part of my tour here. I went to see the rabbi, Rabbi Shimon, who's actually copied the Bible. And how are you? It's good to see you. I'm taking a video, the Kef Mitzalem, from Varshavra. What book you're... Genesis, of course, because it's the beginning of the year. The wedding of Jacob, Rachel. Oh, right. And you can see that he is using a special ink. It's a kosher one, and he cannot make a mistake. And I'm so happy that he actually talked with me, and you can see what he is doing now.
La Torah à gauche, quand vous rentrez, vous allez voir ces espèces de réceptacles-là dans lequel on met le livre de la Torah quand c'est terminé.
And it's air conditioned room. And if you will ask him nicely, he will write your name on it, and he will actually to see how to contact him, and I will send him that video as well. But there's another group behind me, a French one, of Amiel, and I will let them go.
Voilà. Vous pouvez rentrer, regardez comment il écrit.
The Kef. Then you saw something that for me is kind of an important thing. I might even cut that part of the video and upload it as it is about the synagogue. Now, it's important for me because if I believe that they built that synagogue after the destruction of the temple, it might be one of the first synagogues that were built at that time. And you must understand that after the destruction of the temple, Jews didn't know what to do because the only place was to pray was there. And suddenly they started to use the synagogues as the temples. Then in that case, until today, it's like that. And it's facing to Jerusalem, which is right there. Facing to Jerusalem is a very important thing. But if we believe that it was built a little bit before the destruction of the temple being destroyed at 70 AD, and maybe it was built by the first rebels at 66 AD, then it's one of the last synagogues that used as an old version synagogue before the destruction of the temple. Anyhow, both of them are important. Remember, you can see the black line that tells you about how we found it, and above it, it's the renovation. You must understand that we use the same stones that have been here. It wasn't so difficult.